Hi everybody, I am running a little bit late today. This is Laura Milligan. Thank you for joining me, and I apologize, I just kind of lost track of time, so a little bit after 1. Let me just check and make sure people are finding me. You're probably all waiting since I am running a little bit late, but I guess that's okay. We've had a super busy morning in my studio today. We are putting some finishing touches on my bingo event, which will be held on Wednesday. It's an online event I do every month. Super fun, and the best part are the prizes. Well, we do make and takes, but then the prizes are Stampin' Up! Products, and so that's become pretty popular, really fun. And then I've also been prepping for my Friendly Flamingo class. Today's the last day to register for that, and we're also working on my Christmas in July. We're already prepping for that. I've had a great response. Tomorrow's the last day to register for that, so if you're thinking about it, if you've thought about it and haven't registered yet, I encourage you to do that today. So today, I am super excited to show you something really cool in our annual catalog that I missed when I first was, looking through it. And so I'm going to tell you all about that, but I'm going to switch my camera down. So these are the 4 cards that I made last week. Now I did 2 Facebook Lives last week, and while I'm talking to you, I'm going to pull out my stamp set because I want to be able to show you what I'm doing today. But anyway, so if you watched either of my Facebook Lives last week and left a comment, I then do a drawing. Hi, Judy. Hi, Myra. Hi, Colleen. Thank you for joining me, everybody. If you left a comment, your name is always entered into the drawing for these cards, and I'll get them in the mail to you today or tomorrow at the latest. So let's just see who is getting a card this week. So Kathy Tynan. I do not have your mailing address, so if you want to send me a message, I will get this in the mail to you. So you get this. This was the simplest one. I stepped it up a little bit. This is for Dana Wendling. Dana, I don't have your address either, so be sure to message me that. The next one, Donna McClelland. I don't think I have your address either. These are a lot of new people, which is very exciting. And then this one goes to Lucy Waitucci. Lucy, I do have your address, so I will get that one too. This was the most stepped up version. So those are the 4 cards that I made last week. Hi, Gran, how are you? Happy belated birthday. I know you had a birthday on, I think it was Friday. Hi, Donna. And Donna, I don't know if you saw this, but you were the winner of one of the cards. So if you would message me your mailing address, I will mail this to you in the next day, today or tomorrow. So today what I want to show you is, this is called the Art in Bloom. It's a new bundle. Let me find it in here. It's on page 116. Super cute set. It's a big floral set with some good words. It has great dies, but the neat thing about this is that it is a hybrid embossing folder, which I don't know that we've ever had before. So it's super, super cool. And I'm gonna tell you all about it in my cards today. So like I've been doing the past few weeks, I'm gonna start with something a little simple and then kind of kick it up. And so I'm using Fresh Freesia cardstock today for most of these cards anyway. And I've already die cut some of these parts and pieces. It just saves a little time, but I do have my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here ready to go because I want to show you how this hybrid embossing folder works. So the first thing I did for this first card, I'm just going to use this is 4x5 1/4, a piece of Fresh Freesia cardstock, and I have my embossing folder. And this comes with the Bloom dies. It's a bundled thing that you get. The whole thing is bundled together. And of course, if you buy this as a bundle, you save 10%. So the bundle is $53. That includes the stamp set, which is this, the stamp set, the embossing folder, and the dies. So my first card, I'm just going to use this embossing folder, and I'm going to bring in my Big Shot, or I cannot get used to saying the new name. After all these years, my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So this, normally I don't bring this in because it's hard to get this all on the screen, but hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to just line this up, and let me show you a little tip. There's a line across these embossing folders, and that's to help you get your cardstock straight in there. So I usually do it like this. Just hold it upside down and line it up across that line, and then I'm going to close it. And so for this one, it's a 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to use plate number 4. I'm going to slide that in here and just crank it through. And look how pretty. Isn't that pretty? It's a really deep embossed, well, that's why it's called a 3D embossing folder. It gives a really good deep embossed pattern. So I'm going to put this down for a minute. I'll be bringing that back up here in a second. Okay, so I'm just going to put this together, and this one I did use a couple of the dies, which I can show you which ones I used. So this is a neat, it almost reminds me of like a ticket or a postage stamp. I guess it's more like a ticket. That's this shape. And then there's a die that cuts these 3 flowers, and those are also in fresh freesia. And then there's a die that cuts out 2 pretty detailed leaves. So I ended up using 3 of those on my card. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and put this card together. I'm going to grab my bone folder, and then I'm going to take this embossed image and attach that to my card. Okay, here's my adhesive. I think things disappear on this table when I'm doing this. So I'm gonna do a very solid line of the stamp and seal on this, because this with something that's embossed like this, you want to make sure that you get a good stick, and sometimes with the added texture, it just needs a little bit extra stickiness. So, and that looks pretty good. It's nice and flat on there. Okay, then I'm gonna do a little bit of stamping. And I love this stamp from the set. It says you're a rare find. I love that. That's a good one to send to a special friend. Okay, so I'm going to use that die cut ticket shape. Hi Debbie, yeah, isn't it pretty? Okay, so this, going to just stamp that on the center there, this fresh freesia ink, which is the same color as my card base. And then that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to put this together. So to put it together, all right, I am going to take some fresh freesia ribbon. This is a monochromatic card, basically just fresh freesia. That's a tongue twister, and a little bit of white. So I'm going to tie a bow. This is our In Color ribbon, our new In Colors. They have this gorgeous ribbon, and it's really easy to work with. And it's a flat bow. So if you make a card and use this, there's not going to be a big lump like some of our ribbons, but it's okay to send lumpy things too. Okay, and this is a new thing I've been doing with ribbon. I like to pull the loops down and just tuck those behind my panel. I just think that's kind of a soft and pretty look. So I'm going to use a glue dot and attach this behind this panel like that. Yes, Judy, you have a Big Shot. I tell you, we had the Big Shot for so many years, and it's just hard to get used to just saying a new name for our Stampin' Cut and Emboss. All right, so that is next. Next thing I'm going to do is add some dimensionals to the back of this, and I'm not going to put any dimensionals in this corner because, well, you know what I am going to do? I'm going to put one right beside that knot. You don't want to put it on top of the knot because then it's going to be, it won't be flat. It will be a little bit more raised where that bow is. So I'm going to put 4 dimensionals on the back of that. Okay. So I'm going to put this in place just like that, but I'm not pushing this side down yet because what I want to do is take some of my leaves, and you can decide if you want to poke all the little papers out. It doesn't bother me that they're in there. I actually kind of like that look. Sometimes I poke them out, sometimes I don't. So it's kind of a personal preference. I'm going to go ahead and put these on there right like that. I'm going to attach these with a glue dot. These are the leaf dies, and I'm going to put a glue dot on the top as well. These cut 2 at a time, like I said. It's going to slip that under there like that, and now I'm going to push that end down. And then when I was making this sample up last week, I had an extra one of these leaves on my desk, and I thought, you know, I kind of like one coming out from here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that under there. Just tuck that under there. That looks good. And again, if you don't like these papers, the little parts still in there, you can certainly pop them out. And like I said, I kind of like that look. It doesn't bother me. It just depends on what you like. Oh, and my glue dot got stuck on my finger. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. All right. So there is that. And then to finish it up, I used these 3 little flowers, and they also are a die. They cut 3 at once, so that makes it really easy. I'm going to attach these with some glue dots. So Jeannie, this embossing folder is called, I think I just set it down on the floor. Here it is. It's called, well, it's included with the Bloom dies. I'm going to show it to you again. I have another card I'm going to make here, but this is a hybrid embossing folder, and it's really cool because it not only embosses this beautiful pattern, but it's also going to do something else that I can hardly wait to show you. And like I said, when I looked through the catalog the first time, I didn't notice what this was about. So I'm guessing probably some of you did not either. Okay, so I'm going to stick this under here. I'm just going to slide that there like that. And then to finish this card, I'm just going to use my, these are my 2021, 2023 in color jewels. And I'll take your pick tool and just add, again, I'm going to go with the Fresh Freesia. It's just a tone on tone look that I like. So I'll just pick up these and just put those in the center of each of these little flowers. These are really, really pretty jewels. Okay, so there's card number 1. And the other thing I would do, which I don't think I have a piece of, it would be 4 by 5 1/4, the basic white. I would just put that here. I always line my cards. Anytime I use colored cardstock, I line the inside with a piece of the basic white 4 by 5 1/4. It just finishes and makes it look nice. So there is card number 1. All right, now I'm going to step it up a little bit. And so the next card, this is Soft Seafoam, and you know, I love this color, and I think sometimes we forget about these colors. So I'm going to use soft sea foam, and let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to get all my parts and pieces out, and I think I need a piece. Well, you know what? I'll just use this. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so laying all these parts and pieces out here. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this one, so this is 4 by 5 1/4. This is what I would put on the inside of my card just to finish it up, but I'm going to use this to stamp. So I'm going to start and just fold this in half, and I'm going to bring in my mat again because this is a photopolymer stamp set. And the first thing I'm going to do is take my soft seafoam ink. Jeannie, let me show you this. This is, these are the products that I'm using today, and if anyone else has questions, this is on page 116. This is called Art in Bloom. It's a stamp set, and the bundle actually includes the stamp set, the dies, and the embossing folder for $53. It is a hybrid embossing folder, which I will show you how to use on my next card. Okay. So I'm going to start with my soft seafoam ink, and I'm just going to do a tone on tone. And I'm just going to stamp a little bit of background on this. This is just going to add a little bit of interest to the background, and that's tone on tone, soft seafoam ink on soft seafoam cardstock. Isn't that a pretty color? And actually, I should show you, so this card that I'm making, I actually use this as my inspiration because you know I always tell you, don't be afraid to copy the ideas that are in the catalog because they are done. They have, of course, a fabulous team of creative people that design all these cards for the catalogs and use their ideas. There's nothing wrong with copying. So I use that, but you can see how I'm switching up the colors. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do on my card base, and then I'm going to bring in my panel of white, and I'm going to stamp this set of 3, the stamp with the 3 flowers on it again. And that's in Fresh Freesia. And then these have, this is a 2-step stamp set. So these are the stamps that are made to fill in these different stamps. So I'm going to go ahead and add some color to the inside of these. So when I do this, I want to stamp off first because I want the color to just be a little bit more subtle. So there's the first one. It's really subtle. Hopefully you can see it. Let me pick this up there. See how soft, it's just soft and pretty. I could have gone directly from the ink pad to my stamped images, but I like it a little bit softer. Okay, so I'm going to stamp off again. Fill this in. And it's nice because this is a photopolymer stamp set. It's easy to get this positioned in the right place. Yes, Jeannie, you can use the folder by itself. And that is what I did in this card. All I did was took the embossing folder and ran it through the die cutting machine, and it comes out beautifully embossed. Look how, I don't know if you can see how, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? How deeply embossed that is. It's just gorgeous. All right, so I'm going to add, this is the last stamp. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is bring in my die cutting machine again. And actually, you know what? I'm not, because I think you all know how to do this part. I'm just going to save a little time here. So this is the embossing folder, and so what I would do is I would, you know, line this up like this and then run it through my die cutting machine. And it's going to come out, these 3 different flowers are going to come out like this. There they are. So I'm going to just set this aside, and then to put this card together, I'm going to take this little ticket again, and I'm going to use Soft Succulent. I don't think you can order the folder by yourself, Jeannie. I think you have to get the whole thing because you're going to see why in a minute, because it coordinates with these dies. Okay, and I'm going to use Never Not Loving You. I'm going to stamp that on this little ticket. That's a good word stamp too, huh? Okay, and now I'm just going to put this together. So I'm going to bring in my card base again, and I'll just start by adding my flowers. I'm going to position them like this, put one there, just like that. And I'm going to leave a little bit of space between them. I'm going to put my words right over that, so these can be spread out a little bit. And again, my inspiration for this card was right from our catalog. Okay, so that's going to be like that. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, and then I'm going to tuck some leaves under there. I have a couple leaves here that I've die cut. Here's another one stuck in my bag. All right, so if you want to pop these papers out, there is an end to the Take Your Pick tool that's like pointy, and so it just quickly will help you pop those out. Like I said, I kind of like the look of leaving some of the papers in there, but I know not everybody does, and it's easy. They just pop out very, very easily. All right, so let me get those out of the way. All right, so then these are just going to double up a little bit, and those are going to be kind of tucked under some of those. So I'm going to start by attaching these 2 flowers first. So I'll get my, I know, Debbie, I was the same way. It's something, I think it's easy to overlook that, and it's beautiful. And wait till you see what it does next. I can't wait to show you. Okay, so I'm going to put I love the colors of this card. I think they're just, it's so pretty and different. Okay, I'll put that about right there. And then this one, I'm going to put that right there. And I'm just going to put a little adhesive in the middle of this one because I'm going to tuck some leaves under there. So that's going to go right there like that. I have the adhesive just on the middle. And now I'm going to tuck these in, and I'll probably use my glue dots again. I like to use those. I'll put these this way. And these I'm going to just tuck under here. That, and then I'll tuck this one up here at the top on the right hand side. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm just going to add a couple of these little flowers. They cut 3 at a time, so I'm going to put all 3 of them on here. I'm just kind of scattering those around like that. And I'm going to use glue dots. You could also use your Tombow liquid glue. That would work. Just put a couple of these on here. I love the colors of this card. What do you think? Don't you think it's pretty? Put that right there. I hope I'm not frozen. I see that Myra was frozen. Can someone say hello? Leave a comment if you're still there. I hope this didn't freeze up. I'm going to just keep going. So then to finish this, I'm going to add my words. I'll just pop this up with some dimensionals. And that's going to go right over my flowers. There's Marianne, there's Judy. Okay, so it's not frozen. Maybe that was just something Myra, maybe her internet connection. Okay, I'm going to bring in my, oh, here it is. These gems again, and I'm just going to add one right there. You could sprinkle a few more on there, which why not? Might as well, right? You could also use the soft succulent. That would be pretty. Just going to bling this up a little bit. It's kind of fun, right? Okay, so there is card number 2. So that's the second card, and this one is just using the die in a traditional way. You know, you stamp it, you line up the die, you run it through your cut and emboss machine, and you get 3 separate flowers. So that's card number 2. The third card, I want to show you what makes this a hybrid embossing folder and what that actually means. So I'm going to put this ink away. Okay, I'm going to get out my little packet for this card. This one is fresh freesia as well. It's just such a pretty color combination. Okay, so I'm going to, give me 1 second here to get organized. Okay, so these are my 2 whites for my inside. And I'll probably stamp on one of those as well. Okay, so I just have a little word banner in basic white, and I cut out 3 more of those little flowers. You can tell I really like those, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna do first is start with, and I need to make sure I'm doing this the right way. I'm gonna start with my stamp, and I'm just going to make sure, okay, it's gonna go this way. Yep. So this is the way that you want it to go, and I'm just gonna take my fresh freesia ink, and you know, you can remember because there's 1 flower here and then 2 kind of off at the side. These 2 are kind of grouped together. So let me find my fresh freesia ink. Okay, my goodness, it has walked away. Hold on. I'm sure it's here somewhere buried alive. Oh my goodness, okay. Oh, here it is, okay. I said I have long arms. I guess I stretched it way over. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and ink this up. And I'll set that aside. Actually, you know what? I think I told you the wrong way. I think it goes this. I gotta make sure I'm doing this right. Well, I have extra paper. If I goof up, we'll fix it. No, I think it goes, well, let's see what happens. All right, I'm gonna do it this way. Okay, and I think it does go this. I think it goes like that. Oh, sorry, you guys. All right, I'm gonna take this, and then what I'm gonna do is take this die, which is the one that I used to cut these three flowers out after I had stamped them. So what I'm going to do is take this die and put it inside this folder, and you have to kind of wiggle it around a little bit, but it will actually, did you hear that? Did you hear it snap into place? So it's, whoops, it snapped out. It will, you just kind of move it around, and it will snap into place when you have it, so that it just kind of fits in there. And then what you're going to do is take your stamped image, and I still have my hand on the die. I'm just going to flip this over, and I'm just going to line up my stamped image so that it fits inside the die cut. Now, when the first time I did this, I'm like, okay, I'm afraid to do this because I'm afraid this die is going to cut through my embossing folder and ruin it. I assure you that is not going to happen, but that was the thought that I had, and that may be the thought that you are having as well. So I'm going to go ahead now and bring my cut and emboss machine in here again so you can see. And I'm still using my plate number 4 because this is a 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to just go ahead and, oh, I need my platform. I'm going to put it on my platform and go ahead and run this through. Okay, so wait till you see what this does. This is so cool, so cool. Okay, so what it has done is it has not only embossed this panel, but it has also cut out these flowers and embossed the whole thing. So it's embossed, it's cut, and let me show you, it did not cut through my embossing folder. So this is called a hybrid embossing folder. Really fun to use. Okay, so let me show you how I'm going to put this card together. Isn't that cool? Mary says, "Hi, I have a question. How does everybody store their scraps, whether it's paper or extra die cuts?" Well, so what I do is with my extra die cuts, I keep them in my stamp case so that then when I go to create a card, the die cuts are already in there. Paper scraps, I have a lot of sunlight in my room, and so I keep all of my cardstock in hanging file folders in file cabinets because I have to protect them from the sun. That's what I do anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to take this, here's my card base, and I'm going to go ahead and attach this embossed and cut layer. And again, I want to use a lot of adhesive on the edge of this because it is embossed. So I'm going to go ahead and go the whole length of this panel. And I'll just give it a good press. Don't you think this is cool? I just thought this was a really cool thing. Hybrid embossing folder. How do they come up with this, right? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just position these. I'm going to offset them a little bit because I want the fresh freesia to show. Oh, Mary, cleaning out your scrapbook room. That sounds like a big job. All right, so these are just going to be like this, and I'm going to overlap them a little bit, and I do want some of that fresh freesia to show behind. So I'm going to put those about there like that. And I did pop each of these up, so let me get my dimensionals again. So I'm going to start with this one. Don't you think that's cool? I just think this hybrid embossing folder is kind of a cool thing. So I'm going to put that there about like that. I'll attach this one. I thought for sure when I did it, I was going to, you know, cut through that embossing folder, but it doesn't. Pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to put that one about right there like that. And then this one, I'm going to pop up as well. You know, and the neat thing about this card, really, it's pretty simple. You stamp, you run this whole thing through your die cutting machine, and you have a pretty quick and easy card. So you could easily make multiples of these. All right, and then to finish this, isn't that pretty? Look how pretty that is. So all the panels, all the layers are embossed. The flowers are embossed. Of course, this part is embossed. I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. I'm just going to add some words. And this says, "Dear friend." I love the words in this set. Let me pull this down here so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, "Dear friend." And I like to just take my paper snips and angle the end. Okay. And this I'm going to attach flat. So I am not going to be doing sometimes on Thursdays I do my Facebook Live Take 2. I am not able to do that this week, but I do have an ordering special that I wanted to tell you about. If you go to my online store and place an order of $50 or more this week, I will send you, along with your hand stamp thank you card, I will send you a free surprise embellishment. And I have a lot of fun embellishments on hand here that I would be happy to send your way. So you can go to my online store. I will add the link when I'm done with my Facebook Live today. I've got some ribbon and some bling extras that I would be happy to send your way. And if you're watching today for the first time and have not subscribed to my email list, I will put a link to that as well when I finish up here. It's a great way to know about any classes that I'm offering, events that I'm holding. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for joining us today. I'm almost done, but you can watch the replay as well. So there's my card, and then I thought I would just add a little bit of fresh freesia ribbon. I just love this ribbon so much. And the other thing is, with a $50 order, I have frequent buyer rewards, and every time you spend $50, you get 1 point, which I call a freebie. You get a freebie, and after you accumulate 10 of those freebies, you get $40 in product of your choice. So that's a great little perk of ordering from me. And like I said, I'm going to have an added bonus this week of any orders of $50 or more. I will include a free surprise embellishment for you. So I'm going to just tuck this under here and just have a little touch of that there. So and then what I'll do is, here's my panel. And like I said, I like to line my cards with a panel like this when I'm using colored cardstock. Hey, Anne Marie, thank you for joining us too. You're gonna have to watch the replay as well. But thanks for stopping in. Okay, so those are the cards I have for today. Let me pull each one of them in. I think they're all just so pretty, and I love these colors. I think they're so pretty. So if you leave a comment today, or if you're watching the replay, leave a comment. Share my post if you have friends that enjoy crafty things. Share my post with them, and you will be entered to win one of these 3 cards when I come back next Monday at 1 p.m. I think I know what I'll be doing next Monday, and it'll be really fun. So these are my 3 cards for today, and I'm going to show you again, for those of you coming in late, this was the Art in Bloom bundle, and it includes the Art in Bloom stamp set and the embossing folder. And where did I put it? See, I do this, I put things down and then I can't find them. It includes the embossing, 3D embossing folder, and then the Bloom dies. So that is a great bundle, and by purchasing this, you'll earn a bee, and I'll send you a free embellishment. All right, so let me switch back up here. So the other thing I wanted to mention today was our mini catalog, our January to June mini catalog, ends at the end of June, which is this week. I believe Thursday is July 1st already, which is so hard to believe. But if there's anything in the mini catalog, some things have already sold out, but there are some things that are on like a last chance list that are still, some are reduced up to, gosh, I think 50%, maybe even more. But if there's anything in there that you haven't purchased yet that you wanted, this is the week to do it. Time is of the essence, so don't forget to do that. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I love to hear your comments. I love the little hearts and love that you share. It really means a lot to me, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I hope you have a great day, and as always, I hope you have time to be creative today. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.